Hey there YouTube, Dr. O here. A little different setting than what we're used to. I'm home today and just wanted to kind of make a little different video. We're not always working on cars and fixing junk, so today we're going to shoot some guns, or a gun. Handguns are pretty new to me. I just got my permit a little bit ago. I'm an avid hunter. I've been shooting rifles and reloading for those for quite some time now. So I picked up this this gun here. Just so you know, it is not loaded. This is a Smith & Wesson 686. It is a 7-shot revolver. Kind of a cool gun. 4-inch barrel, iron sights, double action. This gun is brand new. We bought it new. I've shot it some, not much. I've shot some 38 specials in it. I've shot 357s out of it. And I don't know a lot about shooting handguns as far as different techniques to hold them, accuracy, what to expect. Like I say, I am a avid at loading and accurizing rifles, in which we have some really good success. You know, no problems. You know, just tearing holes at 100 yards with any of our rifles. So here's what today's test is going to be. I've got a target set up at 20 yards. The gun's clean right now, so I'm gonna shoot probably a cylinder full of some 38 specials downrange just to follow up the bore. And then I loaded up some of these little guys here. These are the 140 grain Hornady FTX bullets, the rubber flex tip bullets. Supplies are kind of limited around here to get. I used CCI small pistol Magnum primers, and I used accurate number 9 powder. The minimum load recommendation through Hornady was 10.9 loads, 10.9 grains, and the maximum I believe was 13.2 or 13.3. So at any rate, I loaded 10 rounds at 11 grains, 10 rounds at 12 grains, and 10 rounds at 13 grains of powder. I'm going to shoot some 5-shot groups down there at 20 yards. I'm going to see how I can fashion it here on the rest to get a good steady rest and kind of eliminate some of the human error. But with this video, I guess I'm looking to see if there's a difference between any of these. Maybe 20 yards is too far for a 4-inch barrel. Mostly I'm looking for your input on this. You know, not, like I say again, I'm not inexperienced in the handling of firearms or their safety or anything of that nature, but I am, I guess, an amateur at handguns. The gun I normally carry and have on me is a Smith & Wesson M&P shielded 9mm. I shoot that at, you know, 5 yards. You know, I can riddle holes with that thing pretty good. Like I said, it's just a defense gun, so I'm kind of interested to see what this 357 does, so stick around here and we'll see what we can do. Like I say, the first 7 rounds here are going to be some 38 specials, just some really light loads, just some factory loads that I had actually. So I'm just going to go ahead and plink those down there. I think I have what I believe to be a reasonable rest. So we shouldn't have any issues there. You can see on the targets, I've already had to kind of compensate on those a little bit. I had to put a little piece of Gorilla Tape on those. It was pretty difficult with the orange front sight to pick up the orange backdrop target, at least for my eyes it was. So I'm going to go ahead and get steadied up here, fire some rounds. There's 7 shots, 20 yards, some factory 38 specials. Like I say, I don't really know what to expect because this is all very, very new to me. But I feel that we've got the barrel. I think we've got the barrel. Let me turn the camera here. We've probably got that fouled. Fouled enough to do some shooting with our factory with our test loads here. So it's pretty cold out today. I don't know, probably 30 degrees. So I'm getting some heat boil off the barrel. So it's making that front sight kind of a little foggy there. So I'll let that cool down for a while, and then we will, I guess, proceed from there. We'll start out with the. I like to start out on a low side there, in case there's any kind of problems there. But I'm assuming those 357s are going to be a little more stout than what we were just shooting there with the 38 specials. Okay, YouTubers, because you're probably going to want to know, it would probably be helpful if you did know, because I am looking for some constructive criticism, I guess, or tips or tricks. But this was my setup that I was just shooting in the last feature. So I just use the adjustable rest I typically use on my rifles, and I had a sandbag essentially under my wrists. I was using a holding the gun fully with one hand, choking up on it about as high as I could. Firm grip, I wasn't killing it, and then I simply overlapped my other hand, so it was this motion here. The gun was like this. I fired it single action. I felt that I had some pretty good, reliable trigger squeezes on that. Like I say, I was getting some heat boil off the barrel. My positioning was like this each time. I had the gun down. I was gripping it with both hands. I guess my thumbs are probably more in this position now that I feel it. And then slowly squeezing the trigger. So that was the method I was just using. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube showing the differences between the Weaver stance and the isosceles stance and different ways to hold your handgun. So I have looked at some of that stuff. So I'd be curious to know your thoughts on that. So gun feels like it's cooled down pretty good here now. So we're going to go ahead, throw the 140 grain Hornady FTX bullets. Going to throw them downrange. Again, I'm using a CCI Magnum primer, 11 grains, accurate number 9. I trimmed my cases down, way down, according to Hornady specs. I don't remember what that was. The case trim length was 1.240 and the COL was 1.585. So I was able to achieve all that. After the bolts were seated, I gave them what I would consider a light roll crimp. I don't know how necessary it was to have a heavy roll crimp on these. Let's see, I think that's all the information that I can give. Oh, and I'm using MagTech brass. I had some factory MagTech ammo that, when we first got the gun, we were blazing through it. The stuff was pretty cheap to buy, so I am using the MagTech brass. The head stamping on it says CBC, so it's all kind of new to me. So anyhow, that's it. We're going to load up. Like I said, the 11 grain loads are going downrange first. Probably just going to shoot 5 of them and then go on from there because the barrel seemed to get warmed up and to the point I couldn't see. Alright, YouTubers, there it is. I went and got the target and swapped it out with a couple fresh ones. The my backer I was using really did not cut very good holes with those bullets compared to what it was cutting with the 38 specials there. It's just a OSB backer, so it doesn't usually puncture very good holes. There was basically what I came up with out of a 5-shot group. I've got to admit, I'm pretty happy with that, I guess. I don't really know what to say. 20 yards, handgun, 4-inch barrel. Like I say, I would be really interested to hear your feedback as far as what I should expect. Should I be sighting this in or shooting this at greater distances? I'm not really sure. So, like I say, I just labeled this target. Just kind of got my load data on there. Like I say, that was an 11 grains of accurate number 9, shooting the Hornady 140 FTXs. Loading it to their data, cutting my cases down to 1.240. So now we're going to go ahead and set up. I've got us a couple fresh targets down there, and we are going to shoot the same exact load with 12 grains of powder. Okay, so there is our target with 12 grains, accurate number 9. That's the group we held. And, let me grab this other target here. So I got something to kind of compare it to. So there's the 11 grain load and the 12 grain load. Now that very well could have been me. The difference there, I did have a little coughing fit prior to shooting, so my eye was slightly watered up. Now that I'm making excuses, but this is probably the only gun I own. Well, no, it's not. One of the few guns I own, I should say, with open sights. So that is not relatively new to me. I mean, I don't know, I guess we've all shot open sights, but I primarily shoot rifles with scopes. So at any rate, we are going to put in the 13 grainers. I've got our target down there at 20 yards, and this time I'm going to kind of have myself in the photo. If I'm asking for help, I guess it may be best to have you see me shoot the gun, so if mechanically it appears that I'm doing something wrong or I could improve upon something, I would appreciate your input on that. I know you're probably going to flip out. I'm not going to wear my glasses. It's cold enough out here that when I breathe, they fog up, so you can criticize me on that if you like, but I guess I'll take the chance. So these are the 13 grainers. I've got to admit, those 12 grainers, they weren't real bad, but they weren't super pleasant either. I'm trying to sound like a wuss, but definitely was a noticeable difference between the 11 and the 12 grain, so they seem to extract fine. I didn't see it. I don't know if these will flatten the primers like a rifle, or what to expect when you're reaching the higher end side of the load. The load data in the Hornady book, they were shooting these out of Colt Python. I think a 8-inch barrel maybe. I can't recall. I'd have to look back in the book. But I think it was, like I say, 13.2 or 13.3 grains was their max load. So I decided to kind of settle on 13 here. Like I say, the 12 grainer loads here, I don't see any signs of pressure, on the case or anything. So anyhow, let's shoot these things. My hands are freezing. It's kind of a good sight picture. Okay, here we go. Rolled it up on an empty chamber. Okay, here we go. Well, they seem to have a little more horsepower. A little catchy on the way out. Stick an empty one in, definitely. Yeah, they're a little snug. Definitely would say. No, that one's not too awful bad. A little bit snug. Of course, I was shooting some 38 specials first, but that shouldn't have got too much powder fouling and stuff in there. Yeah, little snug. Let's go down and see what this target looks like. Okay, so there we are. That's my group I got with my 13 grainers. I felt like I had pretty good repeated mechanics there as far as grip and what I was seeing down the sights anyways. It appears, if we kind of give these an overall look, starting out with the lighter loads at 11 grain, going from 12 up to 13, it does appear that my group opened up. Is that because, well, number one, that's what the gun likes to shoot with 140 grain, likes those little bit lower velocity, or is it my mechanics breaking down because of a little bit more recoil? So like I said, I'd be kind of curious if anybody has shot similar loads or has had similar experience. I don't have enough experience shooting handguns to know to know anything really. So I would say to make sure that this one isn't a fluke. I got 5 more rounds left, and I say we put 5 more downrange of the lighter load and see if they group as well. I'm going to take a minute and run inside there and warm up by the coal stove for a little bit and come back and do that. Alright, so I think it is relatively definitive that the 11 grain load is definitely the most accurate out of what I loaded. I would suspect that this grouping here definitely has a fair amount of human error in it. I didn't feel as confident squeezing those off. As far as sight picture, starting to get a little bit fuzzy there, just with the lighting and stuff we have today, and I can't really say that I am super fond of that orange insert in that on this gun. I like the gun otherwise. I mean, I don't know if anybody has one of these, but it is pretty sweet. It fits my hand. I have relatively large hands, so when it comes to holding the gun, it does fit my hand quite well. I mean, almost wrap around. Maybe a different grip might suit me a little better, but I honestly don't really have any complaints about it. It's a pretty fabulous gun, but I definitely think it likes that 11 grain load quite a bit better, particularly when I was fresh eyes and everything there, and wasn't cold at all, and shot that group there. So there, I hope you enjoyed that video. However, there's still 10 rounds in there. I do not want to go back inside with bullets that have not been shot. So, aren't they cool looking? I think those are just the coolest thing. So, pointed bullet out of a revolver. So anyhow, being that it's not real good with those 12 and 13 grainers, I say we make a little trip down range there, down to the 100-yard target. And there's some stuff hanging, some old leaf springs and the car rim and bowling pins, so let's go shoot that stuff. Alright, we are down here and we're about 15 yards away. I've got a pocket, well, I got 5 of these 13 grainers left. These were the least accurate, They shot a little low and a little to the left, so let's see if we can hit some of these bowling pins offhand. Now I got one left in there. Well, I didn't do near as good as I hoped I would. Okay, let me grab some of these 12 grainers here and we'll get loaded up. Alright, well, I've got some car leaf springs there, kind of hung up. I like to play music with them with our 22s. Definitely going to put my glasses on for this one, just in case, you never know. I wonder, however, how the accuracy changes, you know, offhand as opposed to shooting off a bench. So, you know, being that I missed, or appeared to have missed so many there just offhand with those 13 grainers, so that might be something we could shoot a video on. I could shoot offhand per se, and then shoot, you know, from the bench, or, you know, vice versa, and kind of compare that. So anyhow, that'll be another video. So let's shoot these leaf springs. See if we can hit some of them with these 5 we got left. Shoot the rim. Oh, guess we're out. And it looks like we need to reattach some of our 22 targets. I don't think it really liked the 357. Anyhow, I'd like to hear your feedback, folks. So let me turn this around here. So if you could, give me your thoughts on what you've seen, what you think. I know I'm kind of a lousy shot offhand, but anyhow, like I say, pistols are new to me, so I'm having a lot of fun, but definitely would like your feedback. So thanks for checking us out. Check out the other videos on my channel. At this point, none of them have anything to do with shooting, but if you drive a car or have any interest in automotive repair, you might like our other videos. So check us out, find us on Facebook, and have a great day.